What dire warning from your parents turned out to be bullshit. People are going to push you to smoke cigarettes. Everyone I've ever met who smokes and offers me a cigarette says the same thing when I tell them I don't smoke. Good for you. I wish I didn't. True. Normally when we offer, it's force of habit from hanging with someone who does smoke. If you say no, I am not pushing you to start. Turning on the lights in the car while driving is illegal. Parents say that because they're tired of kids asking to have the lights on. My parents just said they couldn't see properly with the lights on. Which I have no reason to doubt, because it does reflect back off the windscreen. I brought you into this world. I can take you out was my mother's favorite saying, but she never even spanked my ass. She's the sweetest lady ever. Me old Gaffer's favorite line was, "Don't piss me off. Boy, you're not irreplaceable. I made you. I can make another one just like you." My aunt said that to my cousin when he was like 8 years old. The little dipshit replied, "Won't that just double your problem?" Quote. My aunt just stood there bewildered by the sass and realizing he's actually right. Surely the implication is that the new kid would be a replacement rather than an addition? This is it. He is not gonna give sass. He is never gonna give sass because of the implication. My parents are Korean, so fan death. When I leave my fan on at night, I feel so alive. What is fan death? When you press the red button with the triangle in the car, all the doors fall off. When we would go to the beach, I would never want to get out of the water, so my mom told me that staying in the water too long would make me waterlogged. She said she could look into my eyes and see the level of water in my system. If the water raised above my iris, that meant I had to get out and let the water drain before I would drown. I believed this for far too long. I was swimming with a friend and we had a track meet the next day. Her dad hollered out to us, "Don't get waterlogged." She said we could soak up too much water and be heavier when we raced the next day. That my two choices in life were either Harvard or McDonald's. Sheesh. Bit of a gray area in between those two extremes. So, can I get fries with that? You may get fries with your master's degree. Watching the TV will give you square eyes. When I was 4 years old, I took a mirror down with me whenever I went to watch TV to ensure my eyes had not gone square. 20 years later, they're still round. Complete bullshit. But if you had square eyes, square things would look round. You wouldn't be able to tell. How high are you? Fine, thank you. D&D is a satanic cult that will lure you in order to offer you up for sacrifice. Lol, no. Mo monsieur. Ha. Half the time, getting a D&D group together to play is like herding cats. Everyone's schedule is different. No one can play on the same day. Someone got sick. Someone else got called into work. Well, now the weather has decided to make the roads an ice rink. No self-respecting cult operates like that. And besides, the Church of Satan is a legitimate church, not a cult. They don't do human sacrifices. And I don't think there's many people who are practitioners of Santeria who play D&D. One of the ladies at church said this to me once, when I mentioned we were getting the D&D group together. And I gave her the look of, "You're fucking stupid," and said, no. Not satanic. Not a cult. Nerds sitting around with dice, pencils, and paper, playing a game. Grow up. Gum takes 7 years to digest. This is when I figured out adults lied. 'Cause I saw it in my poop. Just couldn't tell anybody. 'Cause I saw it in my poop. Whenever this comes up, I like to remind people of the pediatric case study of a patient who always swallowed his gum, leading to a gastrointestinal blockage. Greater than this clean-out regimen produced no results after 4 days. On the 5th day, the child was brought in for manual disimpaction under conscious sedation and rectal suction biopsy. On removal of the leading edge of the fecoma, a taffy-like trail of fecal material remained in the rectum. This mass was eventually manually withdrawn and was primarily made up of chewing gum. So anyway, just because it doesn't take 7 years to digest doesn't mean you should make a habit of swallowing goo, monsieur, otherwise you'll end up like the victim of one of Willy Wonka's karmic punishments for disobeying. Willy Wonka says don't swallow your gum and you don't listen. Looks like you're getting the taffy suctioned from your ass. Ass taffy. Raging piece of ass taffy is now my favorite insult. Oompa loompa doopa tea doo, monsieur. Don't swallow gum or you'll plug up your boo, monsieur. Edit. Oompa loompa doopa tea old. Thanks for the Reddit silver and gold. My mom warned me as a kid that eating the loose pieces of dried ramen from the pack would make me deathly ill. I kept doing it with no problems. One day she said that in front of my dad when I was a teen, and he just gave her this WTF are you talking about look. If you keep masturbating, you'll go blind. Thoroughly tested and definitively false. You can't eat steak that is pink on the inside. That's how you get sick. Believed this till I was about 19 until I learned that it pretty much can be as red in the center as you like so long as it's properly seared. Turned out my mom just didn't like rare steak and felt uncomfortable making it for me and my sister. So she just lied. If the steak isn't black, it's raw. According to my monsieur. To be fair, I would never have got into leather work if it wasn't for my mother's inability to cook steak. That literally any college degree would be a guaranteed job. And the only way to get a job. I graduated in 2008. By the way, edit seems to be coming up a lot. I'm talking about 2008. In 2008 and before. Outside of tech, most internships didn't pay, but they were still often needed. 2008 was really the turning point on that for a lot of degrees. The list of BS degrees that don't do anything grew dramatically after that recession. The only way to get a job thing was stupid though and horrible advice. If you go to college but can't afford to take an internship, because you know, you need to work a real job to finance the education, you're going to come out of college with a degree and no experience. I was always skinny growing up even though a lot of my family is overweight. I also had no interest in physical activities. My parents always used to tell me that if I didn't exercise I'd start getting fat by the time I was 25. Joke's on them. I didn't start putting on weight until I was 30. We can't pay $1 to go in the haunted house because they might not have a bathroom in there. What if you have to go to the bathroom? Quote, just admit you're cheap. Dad, I'd much rather have this than my experience growing up. My dad would always complain at ticket booths about how it was free that one day, so it should be free today. Or he would ask for some discount that didn't apply to him. Or claim to have a coupon that maybe he had at one point, or is expired now. We would have escalating levels of managers come and talk to us and he would keep doing it. He made my mom cry sometimes. I was just embarrassed. He sees it as good business sense. They think you're stupid if you don't ask for a discount. He doesn't realize this isn't a bazaar. He doesn't even come from a country where that's normal. The worst part about all this? We could afford it. My dad just hates paying for experiences and would rather go shopping or do anything else. Edit. I put it in the story because I knew it would come up, but it seems to have been glossed over by many. Again, asterisk, he doesn't even come from a country where bartering, haggling is commonplace. At least not in large cities where my family is from, monsieur asterisk. The most you can do is maybe ask for a bulk discount if you're at an independent stall in a market or something. Which is something I'm not against and it doesn't hurt to ask. However, my dad takes it a step further and feels that just because he's him, he should get greater discounts, free things. When I worked in the service industry, I could never figure out why people would go through all that hassle just to save a couple of dollars. Isn't your time and dignity worth $2 whole? Not to my dad. He would rather act a fool and save $1. We were in his home country one time, at a place that charged the equivalent of $1 USD for parking, entrance, As soon as we pull up to the guy, my dad starts his spiel and I just roll down the window. I'm sitting right behind him and hand the guy the money while saying I got it. Guy lets us in. Dad starts saying he was trying to save us money and I shouldn't have done that. My mom, for once, didn't enable him and said she's sick of that. It's a business and they need to make money too. And she's not in the mood to be embarrassed today. It happened to be at almost the exact same place where we had the worst of those confrontations with managers, only 20 plus years later. Thank you for watching.